បាទសូមជម្រាបសួរបងប្អូនសាជាថ្មីម្ដងទៀតហើយរីមកកាន់ថ្នាក់អប់រំជីវិតរបស់យើងនៅថ្ងៃនេះដែលយើងនឹងសិក្សានៅមេរៀនទី7ហើយមេរៀននេះមានចំណងជើងថាចេះប្រើទេពកោសល្យរបស់ខ្លួន Making good use of your talent ទាំងបងប្អូនដឹងថាតើយើងម្នាក់មានទេពកោសល្យអ្វីឬក៏យើងអាចនិយាយបានថាយើងមានអំណោយទានអ្វីហើយតើយើងអាចប្រើអំណោយទានឬក៏ទេពកោសល្យទាំងនោះធ្វើអ្វីបានខ្លះដូច្នេះដើម្បីឲ្យយើងកាន់តែយល់ច្បាស់យើងនឹងមានសំណួរពីរនឹងមើលជាមួយគ្នាហើយនឹងគិតពិចារណាជាមួយគ្នាតោះនៅក្នុងសំណួរទី1ចង់សួរបងប្អូនថាតើបងប្អូនដឹងទេថាខ្លួនឯងមានទេពកោសល្យដ៏ពិសេសដែលអ្នកដទៃមិនមានតើបងប្អូនមានបានយកទេពកោសល្យនោះមកប្រើទេដូច្នេះហើយបើសិនជាយើងគិតថាយើងមានសូមយើងគិតថាតើយើងនឹងយកវាមកប្រើលើអីហើយធ្វើយ៉ាងម៉េចហើយទី2បើយើងអត់ទាន់មានទេយើងត្រូវតែគិតថាតើអីគេជាទេពកោសល្យរបស់យើងអីគេជាអំណោយទានរបស់យើងហើយតើទាំងអស់នោះបានមកពីណាដែរលោកគ្រូមានជំរឿនមួយបទហើយនាំបងប្អូនច្រៀងទាំងគ្នាជាមួយនឹងលោកគ្រូបាទតោះขอบคุณเอ่ยช่วยខ្លួនឲ្យរួចមិនបានកុំអាងទ្រពធនអើយជួយខ្លួនឲ្យរួចមិនបានគ្រាន់តែជាជាតិជួយបានទៅត្រឹមទីលោកីគ្រាន់តែជាជាតិជួយបានទៅត្រឹមទីលោកីកុំអាងចំណេញអើយតួប៉ិនយ៉ាងដូចម្ដេចក្ដីកុំអាងចំណេញអើយតួប៉ិនយ៉ាងដូចម្ដេចក្ដីដំរេងលោកីបានប្រយោជន៍អ្វីដល់ប្រលឹងដំរេងលោកីបានប្រយោជន៍អ្វីដល់ប្រលឹងបាទអរគុណហើយយើងទៅជាមួយគ្នាបន្តទៀតបាទលោកគ្រូមានរឿងនិទានមួយនៅក្នុងព្រះគម្ពីរម៉ាថាយជំពូក25ខ14ដែលរឿងនិទាននេះបាននិយាយប្រាប់អំពីទេពកោសល្យឬក៏អំណោយទានរបស់អ្នកបម្រើ3នាក់ដែលចង្វាយរបស់គាត់បានធ្វើការមួយមុនពេលដែលគាត់ចាក់ចេញពីផ្ទះហើយប្រគល់ការទទួលខុសត្រូវនោះទៅដល់អ្នកបម្រើរបស់ខ្លួនសូមស្ដាប់ជាមួយលោកគ្រូព្រះរាជនៃឋានបរមសុខព្រះបាននឹងបរិះម្នាក់ដែលហៀបនឹងចេញដំណើរទៅស្រុកឆ្ងាយគាត់ហៅពួកអ្នកបម្រើមកប្រគល់ទ្រព្យសម្បត្តិឲ្យគាត់ឲ្យរៀងខ្លួនគឺឲ្យប្រាក់ទៅអ្នកទី1ចំនួន5ណែនអ្នកទី2ចំនួន2ណែននិងអ្នកទី3ចំនួន1ណែនអ្នកបម្រើដែលបានទទួលប្រាក់5ណែនយកប្រាក់ទៅរកស៊ីភ្លាមហើយចំណេញបាន5ណែនទៀតអ្នកទី2ក៏ដូច្នោះដែរគាត់បានយកប្រាក់នោះទៅរកស៊ីហើយចំណេញបាន2ណែនទៀតរីឯអ្នកទទួលបានប្រាក់1ណែនគាត់បានយកទៅជីកដីកប់ទុកលុះក្រោយមកម្ចាស់ខ្លួនវិលត្រឡប់មកវិញគាត់គិតបញ្ជីជាមួយអ្នកទាំង3នោះអ្នកទទួលបានប្រាក់5ណែនដែលយកប្រាក់ចំណេញ5ណែននោះចូលមកជូតម្ចាស់ពោលថាលោកម្ចាស់លោកបានប្រគល់ប្រាក់5ណែនឲ្យខ្ញុំប្របាទឥឡូវនេះខ្ញុំប្របាទបានចំណេញបាន5ណែនទៀតលោកម្ចាស់ពោលទៅគាត់ថាល្អហើយអ្នកបម្រើដ៏ប្រសើរមានចិត្តស្មោះត្រង់អើយអ្នកបានស្មោះត្រង់នឹងកិច្ចការដ៏តូចមួយនេះខ្ញុំនឹងតាំងអ្នកឲ្យមុខខុសត្រូវលើកិច្ចការសង្គមអ្នកទី2ក៏បានធ្វើយ៉ាងដូចនេះដែរគឺគាត់បានយកប្រាក់2ណែននោះហើយទៅរកស៊ីចំណេញបាន2ណែនទៀតរួចក៏ចូលមកឲ្យម្ចាស់ហើយលោកម្ចាស់ក៏បាននិយាយទៅកាន់ថាអ្នកបានស្មោះត្រង់នឹងកិច្ចការងារទូចហើយខ្ញុំនឹងឲ្យអ្នកមើលខុសត្រូវលើកិច្ចការធំហើយអ្នកទី3បានចូលមកចំពោះលោកម្ចាស់ដែរដូច្នេះចំពោះទៅកាន់លោកថាទៅព្រោះលោកម្ចាស់ជាអ្នកដែលបាន kê chùm nên vì Paul đại lúc mình ban sa proof hai có ban bà vô mà chùm nên vì Paul đại đông nam đại lúc mình ban đam cho nênเราสักวัดมีการเพลย์คลายเป๊ะก็ยกประระบจะวายนึกติดกอบหายจะวายนึกก็ปราบตือเนี่ยบุญญาติใบนุธาโจยกประนู้มาเอาเนี่ยปีมวยแต่มีประดำแนนหายแต่พวกเกิดกอดมีนหายใช่หายก็บานอีเยตการเนี่ยบุญญาตินุธาเนี่ยจีเนี่ยบุญญาเด็กเชื่อจะโอ้หายหนึ่งบอกเนี่ยแต่ขังกลางตรงตีงงเงิดวิ่งในหายนี่ก็ชี้ใส่เรื่องมวยในขนมอัตบดแต่ผมปีมาถ่ายนี่แต่บางของหายปราบยิงปีจะวายมวยให้นังเนี่ยผมรับใบเนี่ยหายchỉ cả bấtยิงเคยทาแต่ทีนี้มีเรื่องการลาในของนี้แล้วก็มีข้อกับปีจองจำมวยจองไอ้พวกมันโจรมอาจมูลครูต่อต้องไปกับปีมาถ่ายจะพวกมาเพย์พรามข้อมาเพย์มวยสมอาต่างออกนี้เนี่ยบ่มราดอประสามีจัดสมอตรองเนี่ยบานสมอตรองหนึ่งกิจการต่อโตนี้ขยมหนึ่งตั้งเนี่ยเอามือเขาจะเลยกิจการทุ่มโจโมกสบายจีมวยหนึ่งชิมจองบ่านี่คืออัตบัตข้อกับปีจองจำต่อจากที่ยังมีวิดีโอมวยหายองหายปีใส่เรื่องนี้จังยังมือจมูกที
Jesus told a parable about a wealthy man who was leaving on a long journey. Before leaving, he met with his 3 servants and instructed them to take care of business while he was away. He entrusted the first servant with 5 talents, the second with 2, and the third with 1. The man was placing great trust in these 3 servants. Since a talent was worth at least $15,000, he was putting something like $120,000 in their hands, which in today's terms would be millions of dollars. He instructed them to invest the money wisely. When the wealthy man returned home several months later, his servants were called in to give an accounting of their investments. The first servant did very well. He invested the 5 he had been given and made 5 in profit, so he handed over 10 talents to his master. The second servant had been given 2, but he too doubled his master's money and handed over 4 talents. The master praised and thanked these 2 wise and industrious servants. Then the third servant timidly approached the master and handed over the same 1 talent he had been given. "What's this?" the master demanded. "I gave you 1 talent and you give me 1 in return? That's it?" The servant replied, "Well, sir, I was afraid you would be angry if I failed and lost the money. So I did the safe thing. I buried it in a field so I could return it to you now, safe and sound." The master was not pleased. He said, "You could have at least put it in the bank and earned a little interest, but I guess you couldn't be bothered." Then he dismissed that servant. The point here is that God has given each of us various amounts of talents. That is, various gifts and abilities. Our talents might be athletic or artistic or intellectual. You might have leadership qualities or people skills, or be a good organizer, or even a natural-born teacher. You might find joy working with children or with the elderly. The list of gifts and talents is a long one. Jesus is telling us that the Master, God that is, expects us to use whatever talents we have been given to serve Him, to serve God. Some of us are very talented. We're like that first servant who received the 5 talents. And some may be somewhat less talented, more like the servants who received 2 or even 1 talent. God doesn't expect us all to produce like the first servant, to produce 10. No, God simply asks us to take what we have been given and to use it well. Take note of the second point here in this parable. God gives each of us various gifts and talents, not just so we can enrich ourselves, but so we can enrich the lives of those around us. Remember, whatever we do for even the least, we do for God. We serve God first and foremost by serving God's children, God's sons and daughters, and by caring for God's creation.
ขอบคุณในช่วงวิดีโอนี้บางหายประเยอะนะถ้าจึงจะใช้ยังแต่ปลาอำนาจเตียนหรือก็เต็กก็ซอได้พร้อมความปฏิบัติเอาเยอะนึงเอาบานมีการรีจำร้านหาอย่างอาจปลาอำนาจเตียนเอานุนำใบหนึ่งบานตัวการรีจำร้านนุหาหนึ่งช่วยตลอดเนี่ยเราตีเนี่ยในจุ่มเป็นเยอะเนี่ยมีสกัดตระการเอาคุณบอกให้ លោកគ្រូសង្ខេបរឿងនេះមាន3ចំណុចទី1គឺថាអ្វីយើងបានពីរឿងនេះគឺត្រូវចេះប្រើទេពកោសល្យរបស់អ្នកធ្វើឲ្យរីកចម្រើនកើតឡើងដូចជារឿងនៅក្នុងរឿងនេះអញ្ចឹងគឺឲ្យប្រាក់ដែលបើចង្វាយឲ្យបានរីកចម្រើនឡើងទី2ត្រូវឲ្យមានភាពស្មោះត្រង់ភាពស្មោះត្រង់គឺជារឿងសំខាន់សម្រាប់យើងម្នាក់មិនថាចាស់មិនថាក្មេងពីព្រោះភាពស្មោះត្រង់បានបង្ហាញអំពីភាពពិតនៅខាងក្នុងចិត្តរបស់យើងទៅកាន់អ្នកដទៃទី3គឺព្រះជាម្ចាស់បានស្គាល់ពីចិត្តរបស់យើងម្នាក់ដូច្នេះហើយកុំឲ្យយើងគិតថាព្រះអង្គមិនដឹងបាទអ្នកដទៃមិនអាចដឹងប៉ុន្តែព្រះអង្គទ្រង់ដឹងទ្រង់ជ្រាបអំពីចិត្តរបស់យើងព្រោះថាព្រះអង្គជាអ្នកដែលបង្កើតយើងមកលោកគ្រូអរគុណច្រើននេះគឺជាមេរៀនដែលយើងរៀនជាមួយគ្នាហើយសូមព្រះប្រទានពរបងប្អូនអរគ្នាយើងចាប់តែប៉ុណ្ណេះសូមអរគុណហើយសូមជម្រាបលាបងប្អូនទាំងអស់គ្នាបាទ